Red Bull just did the impossible. A brand new engine. No experience. And still, over 600 laps with 0 failures. Max Verstappen didn't just survive testing. He dominated it. And the craziest part? He wasn't even trying to go fast. Because behind that smooth lap, behind the fake smile, behind the rookie crash that almost ended everything, there's something far more dangerous happening inside Red Bull. Something nobody expected from a brand new power unit. Something no one else on the grid is ready for. And if this data is real, the rest of the field? They're already too late. Because the RB22 doesn't just work. It might be a monster. And the truth about what Max and Hadjar just revealed in Barcelona? It's going to change the entire season. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not this fast. Not this clean. Not in year one. Because Red Bull didn't just show up in Barcelona with a new car. They showed up with an engine nobody trusted. After breaking ties with Honda, they partnered with Ford. And built everything in-house. New factory. New engineers. New systems. And for months, all anyone heard was silence. Rumors of overheating. Leaks about late parts. Insiders saying, it won't be ready. Even Verstappen played it down. We don't expect a lot of laps. But then, the garage doors opened. And the RB22 went out. Quiet. Clean. No smoke. No failures. Just lap after lap after lap. And that's when the panic started. Because the first run wasn't a shakedown. It was a statement. Over 600 kilometers. No red flags. No engine issues. A brand new power unit. That didn't break. But the real shock? Came from the rookie. It happened fast. Isack Hadjar. Fresh into his full-time F1 seat. Tight on intermediates. Track still damp from overnight rain. Turn 14. Snap. Slide. Impact. The RB22 destroyed. Front wing shattered. Side pod gone. Session red flagged. And just like that, the questions came rushing in. Was it driver error? A setup mistake? Or something deeper? Something built into the car itself? Because here's the thing. Hadjar didn't just spin out. He lost the rear at low speed. With grip. On a corner every other driver handled just fine. And if that sounds like a rookie mistake, you're missing the point. Because that snap? It wasn't unique. Even Verstappen mentioned it. It's a bit nervous. Still learning how it behaves. So what if Hadjar's crash wasn't just about inexperience? What if it exposed the dark side of Red Bull's new weapon? Less downforce. Sharper balance. Lower ride height. Great for speed. Terrifying for control. And remember, they're not even running full power yet. So if the RB22 is already this sharp on a cold track, what happens when the temperatures rise? When the grip drops? When the racing gets real? Hadjar's crash might have lasted 2 seconds. But the message it sent? Will echo all the way to Bahrain. On day 3, Max Verstappen got back in the car. No drama. No press photos. No build-up. Just out of the garage and onto the track. And for the next 5 hours, he didn't stop. 118 laps. Clean. Controlled. No engine issues. No red flags. He didn't set the fastest time. He didn't need to. Because Max wasn't chasing headlines. He was watching. Measuring. Waiting. Every breaking point. Every power delivery. Every time the rear twitched under load. He filed it away. And when he stepped out, he didn't celebrate. He didn't joke. He just said this: "The base is solid. There's still work to do. But it's promising." That's not excitement. That's control. And in Verstappen's world, that kind of calm means he knows something you don't. Because here's the secret. When Max is frustrated, he complains. When the car's off, he says it loud. But when he's quiet, that's when you need to worry. Because Red Bull didn't come to Barcelona to prove anything. They came to gather everything. Temperature data, fuel flow, tire response under load. And Max? He gave them exactly what they needed. A perfect, error-free stress test. From the fastest driver on the planet. No radio outbursts. No engine warnings. Just precision. And silence. Which means this car isn't just working. It's being studied. And when Max is studying, he's planning. And when he's planning, he's winning. Let's talk numbers. Because behind every headline, every photo, every slow-motion replay from turn 3, there's something much harder to ignore. Lap count. Red Bull ran 624 laps during the Barcelona test. Let that sink in. That's more than any other engine manufacturer. More than Ferrari. More than Audi. More than Honda. More than teams with years of experience on these new regulations. And this wasn't just Verstappen grinding out laps. While the main car was being rebuilt after Hadjar's crash, Red Bull's sister team, Racing Bulls, kept pushing. Day and night. Short stints. Long runs. Telemetry flowing straight back to Milton Keynes. And here's the thing. Not one engine failure. Not one power loss. Not even a single sensor-triggered shutdown. That's not luck. That's engineering. Remember, this is a first-generation Red Bull powertrain's engine. Built from scratch. Paired with a chassis redesigned around a whole new aerodynamic rulebook. This should have been a mess. But instead, it's a machine. And while Ferrari and Mercedes were scrambling with setup, Red Bull? They were simulating race distances. Tracking tire degradation. Measuring thermal drift over long runs. Every lap was a data point. Every sector, a test. Every session, a warning. Because the one team everyone expected to stumble just ran the cleanest test of all. And they didn't even show their hand. Every team left Barcelona with the same feeling. Confused. Because Red Bull didn't go for glory laps. They didn't use softest tires. They didn't run low fuel. No headline times. No look at us moments. Just endless, controlled mileage. And that's what's terrifying. Because the data doesn't lie. But it also doesn't tell the full story. When Hamilton went purple, people knew he was pushing. When Leclerc ran low fuel, everyone saw it. But Max Verstappen? Never turned the wick up. Never did a qualifying sim. Never showed his cards. Which means, nobody knows how fast the RB22 actually is. And that's why the paddock is quiet. Not because they're confident, but because they're nervous. Because when the fastest car on track isn't trying, how do you prepare for that? How do you plan strategy? How do you simulate race pace? How do you fight back against a threat that's still hiding behind the curtain? Even teams like McLaren, who looked sharp late in testing, are asking the same thing. Are we really close? Or are they sandbagging again? And the answer? Nobody knows. And that's the problem. Because in Formula One, uncertainty is a weapon. Red Bull didn't just leave Barcelona with laps. They left with control. Barcelona was the setup. But Bahrain? That's the reveal. And if everything we saw in Spain was just a rehearsal, then what happens when Red Bull goes full throttle? Because Bahrain is hotter, faster, more punishing. The real test isn't mileage. It's stress, high track temps, harsh degradation, tight race windows. And when that happens, most teams start showing cracks. But Red Bull? They're arriving with 600 laps of clean data. Cooling systems? Validated. Power delivery? Mapped. Tire behavior? Simulated in 4 different fuel loads. While other teams are still fine-tuning aero balance, Red Bull is building race strategy. They're already playing Bahrain like it's round 1. Because to them, it is. Barcelona wasn't about pace. It was about information. And now that they have it, they can unlock the next layer. Higher engine modes, push laps, full race sims, and maybe, just maybe, we'll finally see what the RB22 can really do. But if it's anywhere near what the data suggests, it's over. Because the rest of the grid is still guessing. Red Bull is already executing. Let's step back for a second. Hadjar crashed on day 2. Verstappen said almost nothing on day 3. And by the end of testing, Red Bull had completed more laps than anyone, without ever showing their true pace. That's not normal. That's not cautious. That's strategic. Because Red Bull isn't reacting to the grid anymore. They're operating on a different timeline, a different logic. While everyone else is racing to catch up, Red Bull is racing ahead. And here's the twist that changes everything. The RB22 might not even be in its final form. Insiders suggest there are already planned upgrades coming for Bahrain. Weight adjustments, cooling revisions, new aero surfaces. Which means the car we just saw dominate testing might not even be the real threat. It was the prototype. A warning shot. And if that's true, if Red Bull has more to unleash, then this season might already be over for everyone else. Before the first lap, before the first overtake, before the first engine mode hits full power. And that's what makes it so brutal. Because Max Verstappen didn't need to break records. He just needed to prove one thing. That Red Bull has already won the part of the war that really matters. The development race. And now, everyone else is just playing catch up.